The courtroom was eerily quiet. The judge's gavel struck decisively, delivering the decision that broke Ethan Walker's life, burdened by the weight of a decorated officer's guilt. After 15 years on the force, Ethan sat, bound and gazing downwards, regardless. His persistent assertions of being innocent. The evidence led the jury to rule against him. He was convinced that what he had planted was sufficient to send him to prison, yet the burden of it wasn't the sentence that crushed him the most. Knew he would have to leave Luck. The devoted canine companion of Max rested nearby. From the rear of the courtroom, his keen eyes, focused on Ethan. The German Shepherd had been more than just a partner. He had been Ethan's unwavering companion throughout critical moments. Now, as Ethan confronted the most challenging moment of his existence, the idea of never encountering Max again was excruciating. As the judge prepared to depart, Ethan's voice pierced the tension. "Quiet, Your Honor," he stated, his voice breaking apart. "Yet before I'm whisked away, I have one final request. May I express it?" "Farewell to Max," the courtroom whispered. In a moment of unexpected revelation, the judge ceased their examination. Ethan paused for what felt like an eternity before he nodded, his tone steady yet compassionate. "Minutes," he mentioned, just as Max was. Upon release, the dog dashed eagerly toward Ethan. His claws clicked loudly on the floor. Ethan fell to his knees, tugging. Max pulled into a tight embrace, whispering, "I'm so sorry." "Yet my friend," Ethan murmured, tears streaming down his face. "I feel like I've let you down. Will no longer be present," Max whimpered, snuggling against Ethan's chest. But then, something shifted, and Max's body grew tense. His nose started to twitch with urgency. He tugged at Ethan's jacket, the material yelping abruptly. The unexpected noise shattered the quiet tranquility of the courtroom. Captures every gaze. "What's the dog was frowning as the judge asked. Max tugged fiercely at his sharp barks, resonating through the corridors. One of the officers advanced with careful deliberation and started to examine Ethan's jacket. The atmosphere in the room grew unbearable. Then, with a metallic clink, an object tumbled to the ground. It was capturing the prosecutor's expression. He stepped forward quickly, his face going pale. "The tremor in my voice doesn't validate anything," he snapped, struggling to regain control of the instant. Yet Max barked once more. The truth remained steadfast and unwavering. "Erase everything that was stored on that device." Ethan gazed intently at the small, captured, his heart racing for After weeks of darkness, a glimmer of hope emerged. This was the evidence he had long anticipated. Did you sense the strength of the connection? Envision the dynamic between Ethan and Max, yet to unfold in this captivating and an evocative tale awaits those who seek to discover what's on that recorder and how it might transform it all. Give that like button a tap, and be sure to subscribe to the channel next. The exhilarating journey is only beginning. The courtroom stood in a state of shock. The small recording device lay in silence. At the heart of the floor, it gleams with a metallic sheen, casing shimmering beneath the intense. Under the harsh glow of fluorescent lights, Max stood unwavering. Next to Ethan, his sharp barks piercing through the space with an air of authority. Every gaze deserves to be noticed. Face the object, and the atmosphere transformed. Heavy with anticipation, "Seize it," the judge. He spoke in a tone that was both quiet and resolute. The officer nearest to the device paused, pausing briefly before leaning down and gathering it in his palm. He raised it high, for everyone to witness, bewilderment carved into. "What is this?" the judge inquired, looking at his face, intently focusing his eyes on the prosecutor, who was already starting to sweat. Dripped as the prosecutor cleared his throat. His face was ashen. "Your Honor, this is. It's not relevant. It doesn't pertain to the evidence presented throughout the trial," he faltered. "It is evident that it has been altered." As the judge's eyebrows furrowed in interruption, crafting connections within a courtroom during, his voice resonated with a razor-sharp edge, "is now in the hands of the prosecutor." The officer visibly flinched as they activated the officer struggled with the device. Tiny device, his fingers quivering as he pressed the play button, and static filled the air. The room was filled with a crackling sound that followed. Through hushed whispers, all gathered closer, leaning in, eager to catch every word. And then the words explode with impact. "Just take rote. The evidence," a gruff voice stated, "is clear. Day, and no one will question it." Walker's impeccable record positions him as the ideal target. Accomplish it with astonishment. Erupted across the room. Ethan's heart halted and then started striking with intense fervor. Recognized that voice. It was familiar, belonging to someone. He had placed his trust in his former supervisor, Captain Dean Maddox. "That's sufficient," the prosecutor hurriedly exclaimed as they rushed toward an officer grasping the recorder. Yet the judge forcefully brought his gavel down, commanding silence in the courtroom. His tone resonated with such authority that the prosecutor halted abruptly, caught off guard by Ethan. He could hardly fathom the words that reached his ears. The incriminating audio exposed all the truths. The way the evidence was carefully placed, how he had been framed, with Max still seated, serenely positioned beside Ethan, released a solitary, deep growl resonating as though reflecting his. The judge leaned in, sensing the partner's quiet rage. Slumped in his chair, his expression grim. "This trial is not over," he stated with conviction. Addressing the room, "Best friends forever. Escort the accused return to the custody of the officers. Ensure that device is secured as new evidence. We're revisiting this case for the initial time." In weeks, Ethan sensed a flicker of optimism as he was taken away, and Max observed his departure, keen eyes brimming with unwavering devotion. Ethan glanced back for one final glance at his partner in silence, vowing to both himself and Max that he refused to allow this injustice to persist. In the frigid confines of the holding cell, Ethan sat on the rigid seat, gazing at the emptiness. Solid barrier. His thoughts surged with everything that had just transpired with Max. Keen intuition had revealed what no one else possessed: evidence of a scheme that the recording served as his lifeline. Yet the revelation was not merely a relief. It was Captain Dean Maddox, the individual who had guided him for years, was behind it. Ethan tightened his fists and set his jaw. How deep did this go? Tightening. In the judge's chambers, a quiet tension filled the air. Tension filled the air as the judge took his seat, desk reviewing the recording on a secure. The voices were unmistakable. Captain Maddox's authoritative voice combined, using a different tone. Ethan didn't acknowledge, disclosed, a deliberate. The judge's eyes narrowed as he activated a switch on his intercom. "Request Captain Maddox to come to my office." Without hesitation, he remarked sharply outside Maddox had been anticipating the courtroom. Make certain that Ethan's sentencing proceeded seamlessly, at least for his strategy. But when the best friend forever approached him with the judges, a sudden call brings a wave of apprehension. An expression crossed his face as he rose with a stiff demeanor. Straightening his tie, he trailed behind the officer located down the corridor within the judge's expression in the chambers was illegible as Maddox stepped into the captain acknowledged with a courteous nod, yet my shoulders tightened as you summoned me. "Your Honor," Maddox inquired, his voice calm even as his eyes darted anxiously in the direction of the recording device resting on the desk. The judge responded, leaning forward. He lightly struck the recorder with his finger. "Could you clarify this facade of Maddox's?" Self-assurance wavered for a brief moment, yet he swiftly concealed it with bewilderment. "I'm unclear about what you're implying, Your Honor," he stated calmly. The judge pressed play. Once more, the scathing words permeated the room. Maddox's face lost all its color, yet he made a swift recovery. "Your Honor, this is," Maddox remarked with a forced chuckle, "absurd. That could be anyone. You can't be serious." "I don't believe the judge." His voice cut through sharply as I took action. "Proof." And with that, he motioned towards the recorder serves as proof of a crime on several occasions. Offenses in reality. BFFs. Before Maddox had a chance to reply, BFF stepped into the room, and panic surged within his eyes as they drew near. "What are they?" Maddox demanded. "What are you doing? Stand up. You can't do that. You're being held," the judge stated firmly during the questioning. "Until we uncover the truth behind this, You are being considered a suspect in the obstruction of the pursuit of justice and the act of falsifying evidence as the Maddox was led away by their closest friends during the protest. The judge reclined in his chair, letting out a deep breath. Profoundly intricate was the web of corruption, unraveling quickly and Ethan Walker's. The tale was just beginning with the recordings. The revelation had cast a shadow over the whole division, thrown into chaos as Captain Maddox found himself in the clutches of the law, whispers echoing around him. The corruption spread rapidly among the officers. Meanwhile, Ethan sat in his holding cell, oblivious to the tempest. Crafting in the open, his mind wandered to Max, the steadfast companion, had been the one to reveal the gadget, and now Ethan found myself pondering whether Max might discover what more he could reveal. Meanwhile, Max was brought to the evaluation of the department's K-9 unit. Officer Claire Bennett, one of Ethan's my nearest colleagues, had stepped up to care for the dog until the case was. Max appeared unsettled, moving back and forth, his enclosure and occasionally releasing piercing barks that resonated through the otherwise tranquil structure he is familiar with. "Something's not right," Claire murmured, observing him from outside the kennel. She lowered myself to meet Max's gaze. "No need to fret, my friend. We'll sort this out together." As Claire rose to her feet, her eyes wandered to Max's nose, firmly pressed against the gate, examining her jacket with keen interest. Her stomach churned. Was this behavior? Was she connected to Ethan's case or not? Envisioning possibilities, she paused for the instant prior to unfastening the kennel door. "All right, boy," she said, grabbing Max's. "Let's see what you're trying to convey." US something. She brought Max to Ethan's locker within the department. In the storage room, the dog instantly started sniffing and exploring the lower. In the confined space, Claire's heart raced as she unlocked it and pushed the door open. Hidden beneath a couple of neatly folded uniforms was a small unmarked envelope in her hands. Quivered as she extracted it and revealed. Inside were photographs, grainy yet evocative. Condemning, they revealed a man unmistakably. Captain Maddox's encounter with an individual of notoriety. An illicit paper concealed behind the images delineate exchanges that involved Maddox in a bribery scheme, connected to the specific situation that had resulted in. Claire stared at Ethan's arrest, evidence of her chest tightening. "Max," her voice trembled as she whispered, "You just discovered the smoking gun." Coming to the realization that the significance of what she possessed, Claire promptly reached out to the judge's office. The images and records merged with the recording Max had discovered, illustrated an unmistakable glimpse into Maddox's remorse. Yet, Claire understood that this was far from finished. If Maddox had carefully arranged the scenario, she hadn't accomplished it by herself. Max was seated next to her, his unwavering presence anchoring her as her thoughts surged. "Ethan was indeed correct," she remarked, gently stroking behind Max's ears. "You truly are the most exceptional companion one could ever have." Request Claire to take a seat in the evidence room. The damning images laid out on the desk loomed ahead, heavy with the burden of what it weighed down on her with great intensity. Captain Maddox of the chest wasn't merely the officer was involved in something corrupt, significantly larger than the documents Max possessed. Assisted in revealing detailed links to payments to other high-ranking officials that remained a mystery, and an unsettling path of deceit that extended well past Ethan's situation. She cast a quick look at Max, who was sitting attentively next to her. His intense gaze appeared to perceive her discomfort. "This goes beyond mere Ethan," she murmured, her voice barely audible. "This resonates on a much deeper level." Assessing the gravity of the situation, Claire contacted the judge personally within an hour. The evidence she had discovered was in his. The judge's expression grew somber as he examined the documents and images. "This is larger than I anticipated," he confessed. "The weight of these documents is significant. Ethan Walker is more than just accurate, innocent. He is a casualty of an extensive concealment." Involving the judge promptly requested an urgent hearing. The announcement of the case reopening arrived. A jolt reverberated among the precinct officers. softly spoken in corridors, anxieties escalating as suspicions intensified among several officers who had testified against Ethan commenced to twist uncomfortably, aware that their participation could face examination once more in his cell. Ethan received an unexpected call out. The unexpected disturbance in the jail's holding the area made his pulse quicken, led to a protected space where Claire. I was waiting alongside the judge as soon as Ethan glanced at the folder of evidence, and Max sat with a sense of pride beside Claire. His heart swelled with a blend of optimism and astonishment. This has just arrived in the judge indicated by sliding the documents forward. Ethan, it reveals Maddox's corruption, and above all, that the proof, the evidence against you was manufactured. Ethan's hands quivered as he turned. Amidst the documents, the images, the documents, and even annotations outlining how Maddox had skillfully shaped the case against everything was present. His voice trembled as he inquired, "Does this imply the judge?" Nodded decisively. "It signifies your liberation. But this isn't the end. There are more to come. People involved, and we're going to need." Ethan knelt, seeking your assistance to reveal the truth about them, drawing Max into yet another warm embrace. "You saved me," he whispered. "You saved." Once more, as Max wagged his tail, the atmosphere in the room was thick with a sense of relief, yet Ethan knew this was just the beginning. Whoever had planned this went. More existed beneath Maddox, layers to reveal, and Ethan would not pause until the complete reality was revealed. What are your thoughts on what might unfold? Will Ethan finally unveil the complete truth? Uncover the truth behind this intrigue? Reflections in the remarks Ethan advanced, exiting the courthouse for the first time as an unbound individual. Yet the burden of what awaited, what lay ahead, was far more burdensome than the shackles he had just shed, and reporters swarmed the steps, echoing with inquiries about his unveil the reopened case, and a corruption scandal is unfolding within the. Ethan disregarded them in his department, concentrate entirely on Max as he trotted steadfastly by his side. The vision of his loyal K-9 partner brought a flicker of, amid the turmoil, there lies a glimmer of hope. The judge had convened a courthouse dedicated team assigned to look into an expanding network of deceit. Claire, now an essential member of the team, was guiding the charge. The photos, the recordings, and Max had assisted with the financial records, revealed a vast web involvement in corruption and manipulation of evidence, engaging several officers and even outside participants. Captain Maddox. That was merely the beginning, Ethan. Claire called out to him as she hurried to catch up outside. The courthouse requires your assistance. No one understands this department more thoroughly than you. Ethan hesitated, his jaw tightening as he had devoted his whole career to placing trust in the emblem, trusting in the honesty of the system. Now that trust had been broken, yet as he gazed down at Max, the dog remained serene. The resolute gaze brought to mind the reasons behind his actions. Had enlisted in the service initially. "I'm in," he finally said, "but I'm not doing it. This is intended for the department I am working on it for. The truth, and for each officer who's continuing the battle for justice." The inquiry commenced in earnest regarding Claire, and Ethan labored diligently, assembling, intertwining timelines and cross-referencing instances and speaking with the officers involved who had collaborated closely with Maddox at times, open to collaboration, yet others. Their silence was unyielding, amplifying the tension. Max took on an unexpected role, raising eyebrows and stirring intrigue, uncovering concealed documents and guiding them to neglected evidence during investigations of Maddox's office and locker. One evening, as I rummaged through his stack within the ancient case files, Claire unearthed a directory of names for local officials and politicians, and recognized offenders associated with dubious transactions and unresolved mysteries. The more profound they excavated, the increasingly perilous path. It became evident that this was not concerning Ethan's situation. It revolved around a whole community of individuals who had utilized the ability to conceal wrongdoing and eliminate anyone who obstructed their path. Ethan, Claire spoke, her voice laden with, "There's a worry about pushing this any further. We're about to create adversaries perilous Once Ethan glanced up from the file he was studying. "We've already created them," he declared, "yet I won't cease, not until the entire truth emerged." As Max released a gentle bark, as if in accord, Ethan leaned down to pet the dog gently, the ears, his determination solidifying. They were not merely battling for justice. They were no longer just fighting for themselves, who had been muted, misrepresented, or wrongfully accused. The task force was diligently engaged in their efforts. Boxes of evidence filled every clock desk available in the small conference, the space that had transformed into the inquiry. Ethan is now officially at headquarters, acquitted of all accusations, had cast themselves into the work. The deeper they unraveled, the more intricate the web of deceit transformed into financial records, altered police documents, and intercepted. All communications indicated a significant and intricate plot that reached far beyond. Captain Maddox. Claire set down a hefty folder positioned before Ethan, her expression grim. "We have pinpointed at least 6 additional officers who were involved." She mentioned that some of them are elevated. "The ranking continues to decline, and it only gets worse from here. Proof linking them to criminal syndicates." Ethan reclined in his chair, his thoughts swirling. These were more than just rebellious officers violating regulations for personal gain. Once again, this was a carefully planned endeavor, merging dishonesty within the division involving unlawful organizations. Beyond this point, if this is as significant as it seems we can't manage this by ourselves, he remarked. "We need to elevate this to a federal level." But Claire shook her head. "Not yet, we're still. Essential elements are absent if we proceed with this. The FBI currently, and they disclose everything. The operation might disperse. We require something conclusive, something that restricts these individuals in position there." The conversation was cut short by Max, who abruptly rose from his previous position, resting by Ethan's feet, the dog's ears, eagerly as he made his way to the door. Sniffing the air, Ethan frowned. "What is this?" he inquired about Max, following the lead Ethan to the far side of the meeting space, featuring a pile of vintage case files lay in disarray. Dean. Claire continued to observe as Max started to scratch. Ethan opened one particular box. His heart pounding. Inside were documents from a case that was resolved 5 years ago, involving a substance break that was said to have led to a thorough roundup of apprehensions. Yet as he perused the documents, he observed shining inconsistencies. Names had been removed, and certain parts of the reports were. "This is completely baffling," Ethan grumbled. "These aren't standard redactions, indicate that these files have been altered by someone." Claire leaned over his shoulder and looked. At this, she gestured towards a handwritten note at the bottom of one. The report indicated it was a hallmark of the Captain Maddox. The drug bust had been the flawless facade, yet the proof within the box proposed that the operation has served as a facade to remove competitors within the realm of illicit substances while providing protection. Some offenders who were settling debts. The department. Ethan tightened his grip. Fists. They were engaging in dual tactics. He spoke with a tone thick with frustration. "And they destroyed the lives of capable officers to achieve it." They persisted in examining the documents. Ethan's phone buzzed. A text had arrived from an unknown source. "You're investigating. It's getting too intense. Pause now or you'll wish you hadn't." Gazed at the screen for an extended period. Prior to revealing to Claire, she glanced up at. His expression was one of resolve, her complexion wan yet steadfast. "Afraid," she mentioned, "that implies we're receiving." Ethan cast a quick look at Max, who was seated serenely beside him, as though prepared for whatever comes next. "Let it come," he declared. "We're not stopping now." Ethan gazed at the message on his phone. "You're exploring to pause now or face the consequences later." The message sent a chill through him. Wasn't merely a nebulous caution, it was an unmistakable danger. He revealed it to Claire, who leaned over the desk, her expression somber. "This isn't random," she said softly. "They understand precisely what we are focusing on. They've been observing us." Her words lingered, dense in the atmosphere, the burden of the situation is gradually becoming more stable as the remainder of the team departed for the evening. leaving Ethan and Claire lingered, resolute in her decision to reveal the elusive element of the enigma. Max rested by Ethan's feet, his ear intermittently twitching while he relaxed. "We're near, yet there's still something absent," Claire remarked while sorting through the files. She gestured toward a document that Ethan had not seen. "Observed previously. Take a look at the significant aspect. Bribe and deleted report connects to one. Name are, they are the ones orchestrating everything behind the scenes." Ethan's eyes narrowed as he gazed intently at the initials are. He murmured, "They've remained concealed for this duration. Yet if we discover, this entire operation falls apart." In an instant, Max rose to his feet, his body rigid with tension. His ears perked up and he released. A low growl escaped as Ethan cast his gaze downward at him. Startled, he inquired, "What is it, boy?" But before Claire had the chance to respond, the lights in the conference room dimmed and then stepped outside, and the room was engulfed into darkness. Claire halted her hand, automatically grasping her weapon. "That's not a power outage," she remarked, the sound of a voice low and steady. The shattering of glass pierced the stillness, accompanied by the unmistakable thud of footsteps outside Ethan's door. My heart pounded wildly as excitement coursed through me. He gestured for Claire to take his veins. "Cover, we're not alone," he whispered. Max crouched low, his growl deepening. Keen gaze locked onto the entrance. Whoever had sent the message, and they weren't just pretending, had arrived to halt the inquiry. The footsteps intensified, drawing nearer. Ethan held his weapon firmly, his thoughts swirling through the possibilities. "Remain near Max," Claire whispered as she locked eyes with him, expression unyielding. "No matter what occurs," she stated, "we won't allow them to triumph." As the door creaked open and Max leapt forward, his instincts keen and poised, Ethan focused, his target ready for anything, was on the verge of entering that door. They were facing an assault, and the struggle to uncovering the truth had just taken a perilous turn. The door swung wide and pandemonium ensued. In a fleeting moment, a shadowy figure emerged into the room, their weapon at the ready. They might respond as Max charged forward with remarkable velocity, gripping his jaws onto the intruder's arm. The man released a primal roar escaped him, his weapon clattering to the ground as he attempted to dislodge the dog from Ethan. Without a moment's pause, he swiftly knocked the gun aside. Using his foot, he honed his own weapon, now hurrying through the second figure. "The doorway isn't moving," Ethan shouted, his voice slicing through the chaos. The second intruder halted, their hands lifted, yet the strain in their position informed him they were anticipating an opening to take action. Behind him, Claire had sought refuge and was signaling for backup on her radio, her voice unwavering. Yet Max stood resolute against the first man, rumbling softly as the intruder fought. "Call him off," the man yelled in panic. Ethan advanced, his weapon unwavering. He shot back, calling them off first, gesturing to the others outside. More footsteps echoed in the atmosphere is thick and intentional, regardless of who is present. Individuals were in places they had yet to arrive at. The man remained silent, yet before Ethan could delve deeper, an overwhelming noise permeated the atmosphere. Canisters of tear gas being launched into the room was soon engulfed in a dense, pungent smoke, space piercing their eyes and throats. Time was slipping away as Claire shouted, seizing the files they had been working on. "That we need to shift." Ethan let out a sharp whistle, and Max swiftly let go of the man's arm, pulling away. The team swiftly advanced alongside Ethan, crouching down to evade the fumes as they shoved toward the emergency exit. At the gunfire erupted from the back of the room, the bullets ricocheting off the walls and furniture. Ethan sensed the rhythm of his heartbeat thundering in his ears as he shielded Claire, and Max responding to hinder their hunters. Crashing through the doorway, they discovered themselves in the shadowy passage behind the building. Claire held tightly to clutching the documents to her chest. She gasped for breath. She mentioned that returning to the precinct isn't an option. In the pauses, "They've reached an agreement. All that awaits us." Ethan nodded, his mind racing with thoughts. Arc was as if they were engaged in a serious game, but As he gazed down at Max, who stood at his side, heaving but resolute, Ethan experienced a wave of determination. "Before we complete, this is on our terms," he stated. "We are not." The safe house was no longer running. An unsettling stillness surrounded Ethan. Claire and Max withdrew to that place after a close escape. The assault at the station, the minor, a secluded cabin nestled deep within the woods, awaited them. The final sanctuary extended over the timber table positioned before them, where the Claire had successfully preserved what they held, all the elements required to reveal the transaction records of the network, including names and connections to Ark, the enigmatic presence who had. Everything was orchestrated as Claire flipped. As she sifted through the files, her fingers quivered. "Just a bit. This is it," she remarked. "If we are able to submit this to the media or federal authorities, the investigators will not be able to conceal it entirely. The whole operation will." Ethan nodded, yet his gaze remained focused on the window, observing the tree line. He understood it wasn't finished, no matter who had launched an assault that would persist until they were abruptly muted, leaving Max's ears perked, and he emitted a low growl. With his body tense, Ethan's hand froze, automatically grasping his firearm. "They found us," he whispered. Claire looked. Her face was pale yet resolute. "We have exercised caution." Ethan shook his. "It doesn't matter. They're here now." The initial shot broke the silence, shattering the cabin's window. Glass splintered across the room as Ethan pushed Claire behind the table for protection. Max barked with great intensity, positioning himself ground at Ethan's side. More shots fired. With the attackers closing in, Ethan took a deep breath, adrenaline surging through him. He instructed Claire, Max, and me to keep our veins down. They will hold them off as he and Max moved in flawless harmony as the assailants infiltrated. Ethan shot at the front door, taking it out. One of the intruders Max leaped at, another of his formidable jaws bringing the man down, yet the assailants persisted. Approaching, Claire made her way toward the files, seizing the essential papers and placing them into a bag. "Ethan," she yelled above the chaos, "we must remove these immediately." Ethan agreed. His expression was serious as he said, "Go, Max, and I will take care of things." Claire paused for just a moment, prior to quietly exiting through the rear entrance, vanishing into the shadows with evidence in hand. Ethan and Max held their position, resisting the onslaught with every bit of strength they possessed. As the final intruder met their end, sirens resonated from afar. The backup finally arrived days later. The story spread across the nation. Claire had submitted the documents to a reliable reporter, and the ensuing revelation caused the whole network to collapse. Arrests occurred at every level, from officers involved in corruption were exposed by R himself to become an influential figure in local governance who utilized the police department as Ethan was his personal enforcer, celebrated as a champion, yet he downplayed the focus lingering on the porch of he observed the play in the yard from his home. Faithful companion had rescued him countless times. He was able to tally, and their connection had deepened. "We did it, boy. Unbreakable," Ethan exclaimed, gently kneeling to stroke behind Max's. "It's over." Max wagged his tail, leaning into Ethan's touch, his sharp gaze serene for the first time in weeks. For Ethan, it was more than merely the conclusion of the clash marked the beginning of a fresh chapter. He had battled for fairness, not solely for himself, yet also for those who had been muted and captivated. He observed Max sprinted after a ball in the golden light of the setting sun. He understood they would achieve this moment of tranquility. What an amazing narrative, isn't it? As I reflect on Ethan and Max's journey from betrayal and broken trust to the fierce pursuit of truth, I am deeply moved by the bond between a man and his dog. Max wasn't just a partner, he was a lifeline, a guardian of integrity when the world turned its back. In a time of darkness, he led the light. Their story reminds us that justice often begins with the smallest spark, an instinct, a loyalty, a bark that refuses to be ignored. If this story touched your heart as it did mine, I invite you to like this video, share it with someone who believes in truth, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful, emotional journeys like this? And tell us in the comments. Type 1 if Max inspired you. Type 2 if your heart ached for Ethan. Together, let's honor their fight and never stop believing in justice.